This is where the fun begins.
Hello there.
Palpatine's guards are reportedly rumored to return here in the Star Wars Disney Plus show Andor. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're doing well. In today's video, we have an update here for the Cassian Andor series. So without further ado, we're going to hop right on into it. The Cassian Andor series is, of course, as we already know, a prequel to the Rogue One films for some obvious reasons, of course. Besides that, it's going to be one of the many projects of the Star Wars Golden Age, or the Beskar Age, as we like to call it here on the channel, of the upcoming 2020 year here, overall, for all the different shows that we're going to be getting here in this year for Star Wars. Not even entirely completely just shows, we're also getting a number of other projects as well here. Taking a read here from the Direct's article, I'm going to have that full article linked down in the description as always. For Star Wars fans, 2022 is expected to be a year long remembered. In addition to Star Wars Celebration and Obi-Wan Kenobi, fans are also expecting a droid story, Season 2 of The Bad Batch, Season 3 of The Mandalorian, and a new live-action Star Wars show in Andor, a prequel to the Rogue One film, as I had mentioned. And on top of that, let's not forget the Book of Boba Fett that we had at the beginning of the year with January and February. Now, the article goes on to say, while Andor is anticipated to follow Obi-Wan Kenobi after that release here, and that whole release of the overall Obi-Wan Kenobi show, strangely enough, it's also one of the projects audiences have heard the least about now at this point in time. And this seems to be an unfortunate thing here with the whole Star Wars Disney Plus shows, is that we're not getting a whole lot of talk and really, I guess, at that official confirmations here from Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Disney themselves, an actual word here for what we can see and expect to see from these different shows. Honestly, and I don't really even want like anything like plot detail or anything like that. Now, of course, that type of stuff, of course, can show up here at Star Wars Celebration. We, of course, can definitely get all new looks, new teasers, new trailers, new posters, whatever the case may be. All that I am simply asking for is some type of timeline here we can actually expect to see here for these different shows actually releasing here. As of right now, we just don't know anything really officially confirmed. It's all simply rumored, and the rumor for as of right now is that Obi-Wan Kenobi show, of course, will be premiering here in just a number of weeks. Of course, we're going to cover all of that here on the channel, so it's all the more reason to hit the subscribe button and join us here today. And on top of that, after the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, as the article states, we're rumored to be getting the Andor show, of course, later on in the fall type of months, around September, November, October, and in between those two, kind of overlapping nearly just about with the Andor show, would be the Bad Batch Season 2. At the end of the year, to wrap it up, we're going to have a droid story and the Mandalorian Season 3. So, of course, as I had already mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's going to be a holy crapped, jam-packed year here for the Star Wars universe and Star Wars franchise. Not to get too much off of the trail here from the update here for Andor here, as I digress. Also reading here from the Star Wars The Direct's article here, what fans do know is that Andor is expected to be a prequel of 2016's Rogue One, a Star Wars story that is set 5 years before the events of the film. The show also stars Diego Luna as he reprises his role as the rebel spy Cassian Andor. Apart from new interviews and leaked site photos, little else has been revealed or discussed, as Lucasfilm appears to be approaching the spy thriller as Cassian approaches rebel intel. But now a new rumor suggests just who else audiences may see in this secretive series. According to a new report and rumors among other Star Wars outlets and news sources, the most reputable out there, of course, has to be the Bespin Bulletin. According to a new rumor from the Bespin Bulletin, as the article reads, the Imperial Royal Guards will be making an appearance in Andor, Lucasfilm's upcoming Rogue One spin-off series for Disney+. While the Royal Guards often attributed to Emperor Palpatine, it's more likely that the formidable crimson-colored entities will appear in a scene involving the Imperial Senate and accompanying Mas Amedda. For those of you that aren't completely familiar or actually really know, Mas Amedda, assuming that I am pronouncing his name right, is essentially that blue guy, for one thing, in those images that I showed you guys, and he's essentially like Palpatine's right-hand man, or at least when it comes to politics or anything like that nature. However, part of the reason I do believe that the article does state that it wouldn't necessarily be Palpatine himself, or maybe even Darth Vader himself, or anything like that, is potentially maybe just simply not to overhype it, and that is a tendency that happens quite a bit with different rumors in the movie franchise, and it's something that we, of course, are trying to lean against. We don't want to really overhype anything, and then a lot of fans get disappointed, because that does seem to be the case with a lot of different franchises, cough cough, Marvel, especially in this day and age, is that a lot of different rumors and speculations and theories are made up, and it leads people to kind of over exaggerate and overhype this type of stuff, to really believe and really think that this stuff will actually come true and actually happen. So all by means, I'm not saying that Emperor Palpatine could actually show up in the Andor show, although I wouldn't completely cross it off or close the door on that potential actually happening. Same thing goes for Darth Vader, although all things considered, I really don't think that Darth Vader needs the Imperial Royal Guards because he's just such a badass. As the article reads, Mas Amedda is a blue-skinned Charagan politician who appeared in all 3 of the prequel trilogy films. During the time period in which Andor is set, Mas Amedda will be serving as a Grand Vizier of the Empire, and the Emperor himself as well, which, as I had previously mentioned, essentially just means that he's going to be like his right-hand man, kind of always by him, and kind of like always, I guess, spectating him. The article also goes on to say it's worth noting that this is far from the first time the Royal Guards have accompanied somebody other than Palpatine himself. In addition to guarding Amedda in the comics, the Royal Guards also appeared in Rogue One alongside Darth Vader, as I had mentioned, although he doesn't really need them. If Lucasfilm intends to bring back Emperor Palpatine again at this point in time, between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor, of course, for one thing, it makes a whole lot more sense. No shade, no offense or anything to the sequel trilogy. There's a lot of different speculations and, I guess, theories and, I guess, overviews on how people tend to view the overall sequel trilogy, but this video is not about the sequel trilogy, so we're going to stop talking about it. Between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor, the live-action series that makes the most sense is definitely Kenobi's, considering the Sith Lord was integral to the division between Anakin and his master. Therefore, it makes sense for Lucasfilm to utilize Mas Amedda in place of the Emperor for Andor. He's still menacing and kind of a high-powered, I guess, figure up there, especially in this time and point where the Andor show is taking place in the Star Wars timeline. And not only is having him flanked by the Royal Guards in line with the comics, but it also is the perfect visual cue for Palpatine's presence and influence as well. As I had mentioned, it's almost like he's being kind of like replaced with this character, and he's still threatening and, I guess, frightening, especially to our characters during this time of Empire reign through the galaxy in the Star Wars franchise. Now, if this rumor proves to be true, the fact that the show intends to explore the Imperial Senate is a fascinating one for sure. Similar to how Rogue One came about from a line in A New Hope, the Imperial Senate was first mentioned in the original trilogy A New Hope in 1977 film by Princess Leia when she claims to be, in quotes, a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan, end quote there. Later on in the film, Grand Moff Tarkin informs those of the Death Star and the audience that, in quotes, the Imperial Senate will no longer be any of concern, end quote, due to the Emperor having, quote, dissolved the council permanently, end quote there, which I guess is like in other terms saying that, hey, Palpatine totally killed the Imperial Senate and he's like a total dictator, as we had mentioned in, and then as we kind of also see in Revenge of the Sith. Of course, there's still a little bit of a Senate there, but I guess to kind of quote Palpatine himself, he is the Senate. I definitely think I speak for a lot of you Star Wars fans out there when I say that Star Wars politics are super interesting, especially compared to like real world politics out there. So to maybe potentially explore that, especially like in a live action view instead of maybe an animated view, no shade or anything to the Clone Wars or anything like that. Any of those animated Star Wars fans or shows out there are of course very phenomenal, and I think that this would be a perfect opportunity essentially to show us a little bit more intel here with what's going on in the whole political world of the Star Wars universe, because I think a lot of us Star Wars fans out there find it very interesting, and there's definitely a lot to talk about and cover with Star Wars politics. Now, as I digress here and talking a little bit more here about the article and what it has to say here about the Cassian Andor update here, since Andor is set 5 years before A New Hope, it sounds like Star Wars may finally see political institution under the thumb of Palpatine in live action and possibly Princess Leia herself. It would certainly be an interesting aspect to explore in conjunction with Andor's missions. Hopefully, fans will learn more about Andor and how the show intends to show the different facets of the Empire, and to hopefully actually receive some type of official confirmation from Star Wars or Lucasfilm and an actual insight look here of what the show is actually going to hold here, potentially plot-wise, and what the show is actually really going to be about here at Star Wars Celebration in May. So while we also don't completely really know of when the show is going to be coming out here, all that we do really know here is that it would hopefully be coming out in the year of 2022 and not actually postponed or pushed back or anything like that. And as I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, it would hopefully sometime potentially come out later in fall. Now, for one thing, I want to thank you guys so much. If you guys are still watching the video, it means the absolute world to me. And for another thing, I want all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. The main takeaway from today's article and overall update here is that the Royal Guards could potentially appear here in the Cassian Andor show here with new plot details as well here for different, I guess, Imperial figures and political Imperial figures at the Star Wars franchise of what we could see here. Just because we would hopefully potentially see the Royal Guards here doesn't really mean any type of confirmation that we would see Darth Vader or the Emperor himself, of course, but it's still there and the door is still open. I just don't want to overhype you guys or anything like that. Of course, I want all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely love to hear what you guys all think. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, as it really does help the channel, and check out Instagram on official Star Wars for more Star Wars content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. As always, may the Force be with you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.